Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more Lords and Villeins in our town of Cinderborough. This video is still sponsored by the publisher. A big thank you to Fulcrum for that. Of course, you guys can find a link in the description down below if you'd like to learn more. So in the last video, we set up a very basic town with some rudimentary economy, right? We've got some housing, we've got some farms, we've got an inn, some forestry, some fishing, taking care of a lot of our very basic needs. And toward the end, we actually did pick up a carpentry family. So I'm helping them get a house set up, plus a small little carpentry area over here where they will be able to start fabricating basic repair kits. I don't have an immediate use for a lot of these, but merely having a carpenter in town opens up new building opportunities. For example, the wooden walls, where I'm starting to make some upgrades for my manor, because we need to reclaim some hay. Or rather, the straw. I need to use straw to start placing down thatched roofs. We are almost out of summer, and by the time we get into autumn, it's going to start getting a whole lot colder, so I want to make sure that we have some roofing to go around. Other than that, though, I'm hoping to get some very good families added into the town sometime soon. It would be great to get another set of farmers, also eventually pretty soon a tailor. Some foragers wouldn't be bad either. Hello, farming families! I was just talking about this. Yes, I will accept the family of Drake. It's a pretty large family, too. Beautiful. All right, so now I could set up even more of these crops over here. Or I might want to consider these guys working on, let's say, some animals. Maybe we can start getting some sheep up and running or something. I don't know. We'll think about some of that. I need to get them some homes set up, of course, though. That is priority number one. I think I am going to try to turn this into a sheep farm specifically. I just feel like that's going to be a good idea. So let's try doing a couple of things. One, I think it's worth trying to plant down some trees in a animal farm. The reason being is if you plant down some fruit trees, you might be able to get some fruit that falls off during the autumn and self-feeds some of the animals, just saving me a tiny little bit of extra work. But beyond that, let's try placing down some wooden fencing specifically. There we go. Pretty sure we're going to need this so we can control our animals. Plus maybe a wooden fence gate thing right over there and over there. Do these need to connect in some way? It doesn't look like they need to. Okay. So hopefully this ends up being enough. Now, you may have noticed we don't have any sheep yet on the map. The only way that I know to get some sheep is actually to take advantage of something called caravans. This is another very key area where we would be able to interject new money or new goods into our economy. So down over here, I'm creating a small little caravan marketplace station with a couple of storefronts and some empty caravan storage. As long as both of these exist, caravans are going to be willing to drop by town. Now, if they happen to have sheep with them, we can direct this family to actually buy some sheep from them and start raising them. That's what I'm going for. Oh, and before I forget, let's make sure that we do give the Drake family at least a few meals. We're probably gonna have to give up pretty much everything I've got left, which is kind of a lot. So now is definitely the time where we need to get a cook up and running. I do think, by the way, that what I might have been missing in the kitchen earlier was a wooden block. By placing this down so we can get some firewood, I'm hoping that that is going to solve the problem. So once again, let's go back to our villagers. Let's go to our domain and let's make sure we have at least one person assigned. And since we're giving away most of our remaining meals, that kind of means that we need to start cooking some more, if you guys don't mind. On the other hand, though, worst come to worst, as long as we're giving away some of our food and we've given people these cooking tables, they'll start making some of their own meals, as you're seeing happen over here right now. So I'm not really worried so much about all my peasants starving. They should end up being just fine. Okay, at least the fencing is now set up. So going over here to the farmlands, let's adjust some priorities. For animals, I would like to buy at least a couple of sheep, at the very least. Now, the family should be able to afford to buy these on their own. If we take a look at the chest I placed down here, we can see their money. And they got like 4 gold, in part because they're actually making an income through the inn. So if I want a caravan to come through and they are going to buy stuff, they'll have the disposable income to work with. I'm not too worried about their well-being. Oh, and sure enough, you can see down over here, by the way, as we are getting close to autumn, the apple trees here have lost their fruit. It's fallen on the ground. So that's exactly what we're hoping to do over here in the sheep farm. We're going to have some pear trees and some apple trees And then once these guys do reach their respective season, which is going to be the end of summer for the apples or the end of autumn for the pears, they'll drop the food on the ground. At least I hope, and that should make it a little bit easier to keep my animals fed. Do we want a bunch of masons? I really don't think so. What am I going to do with things like stone blocks right now? The answer is basically nothing. A caravan hath arrived. Oh, goody. That's exciting. Can we see what you're actually selling? You're selling some pigs. Well, that's good in the sense that if I wanted to, I could actually repurpose my foresters to also raise pigs, but I don't think that's quite going to be worth it to me. And all this other stuff over here doesn't really excite me either. So we're going to ignore all of that and just kind of let them pass by. Eventually, we'll get a caravan with some sheep. Tax day hath arrived. Hooray, my favorite time. All right, so we should be seeing a lot of resources getting dropped off over here in the warehouse. Very badly needed resources, I should add. Okay, that's going to be great. A family of foragers? Absolutely, I would like to accept them too. Okay, that is something we have been looking for. So, foragers should be able to get us something over here. I don't know if that's considered to be part of the royal forest here. I think it is, yeah. So, foragers should be able to work the trees, but they also should be able to plant down, I think, a bunch of berry bushes. If I remember correctly, let's see if that's true. Yeah, blueberry bushes are something we can plant down over here. So right now they're growing a whole bunch of different trees, including a handful of different fruit trees, which probably isn't really worth my time if I'm being honest with you. But what we can do now is give them another forest patch, specifically with the intention of creating a whole bunch of berry bushes, and that becomes another good source of food for us. Also, more lumber. And who's unhappy about having more lumber? Let's assign a new house to the Walsh family. Bada boom. And they'll get that sucker built up. And unfortunately, the king is now sending me some orders. All right, so let's see. The king would like some grain, so currents and then to pay. So we have plenty of grain, some carrots, some corn. Apparently we need to pay some cabbage. That's not something I've currently got, nor potatoes. We're kind of on there in terms of like apples and stuff, but only barely. Yeah, the king is demanding kind of a lot of stuff here. Eesh. All right, well, the only thing I see that we're actively missing is going to be cabbages and potatoes. So we'll probably go ahead and start growing some of them. But I don't know, maybe we'll be able to pay the difference in gold if we don't actually have any of those, which I guess I'm kind of okay with. Anyway, let's go over here and set down some more royal forests. I think what we might want to do... Let's see, I can set a really big royal forest over here with some trees that already exist, but then I'm also going to set down another... Well, not quite like that. I want to set up two separate ones, I think. Two separate royal forests, because I'll set some of them specifically for the purpose of chopping down a bunch of trees using our large family, and then some of them for planting down a bunch of blueberries so we have a new source of food. But ultimately, they're all going to go to the Walsh family. You know something? I think this farming family might have a few too many people. Just a few too many children. I could use another servant. What if we went over here to, let's see, you're married, blah, 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 Roland's... You're about the same equalness as far as sucking at farming. Only a 2 out of 10 skill. Not good enough. Not good enough at all. I'm going to make the Roland into a servant. You're mine now. Yep, you leave your family. Come move into the cottage. Hooray! More builders for my nobles. Autumn is slowly chugging away. And one thing I'm doing right now is I'm going to my warehouse. And as we're making sure we get rid of some food or some straw or some planks, whatever it's going to be, I'm changing away from getting rid of a specific amount and instead making it so we are until taxed. And what this does is we can sell off all excess except what the king is demanding by the time we get to autumn of next year. I mean, I've got plenty of time to go ahead and build this stockpile back up. So I could potentially just go ahead and start using more of this. And if I'm feeling really worried about it, I probably will. But that's an easy way to try to make sure you don't accidentally offload goods that you know you're going to need. You can just simply go through this, make sure you only sell off the excess, and keep everything in reserve for His Highness the King. One thing I am observing is that when a caravan comes through, there is a good chance that some of my people, at least, are going to come by and buy some stuff. Which, I don't know, maybe that's okay, maybe that's not, it depends. It means they're missing something that they think they need. I'm guessing it was probably clothing. So something I did was go over here and start granting some clothes to each of the individual families. Just because I have a stockpile and I'm not doing anything with it, I'm hoping to actually produce some more at some point soon anyway. So I might as well make sure we give some of this away so they stop wasting money that goes out of the town and keep that currency circulated in our local economy. Which again, they're not even using right now, but that's fine. Oh, I feel like I'm starting to get a better appreciation for governments and their view on taxes. Namely that they want more of them, and more frequently. Because here I am, waiting to the end of the quarter like, I'm so low on stuff, there's so much more I want to build, and totally use to improve my people's lives and not benefit myself in any way, shape, or form. So can we please get to the end of that quarter and pay me more often? Or is it even really taxes if you're just taking literally everything? I mean, kind of, seriously, we're not really taxing these guys at all. As far as I'm concerned, I own the means of production on all this stuff. I'm just hiring these guys almost like employees to manage the whole thing, and I have to provide them room and board at the same time. It's like a factory town, or something. I don't know. Well, whatever. Taxes or not, the point is, I want more stuff. I can never have enough stuff. Uh-oh. I see things starting to turn kind of white and frost-beaten. Well, that must mean that winter is well and truly on its way. I'm a little low on the wood and wooden rod side of things, which I'm pretty sure you need to take actual wooden logs in order to turn that into firewood. But the good news is, by the end of the day, we should be approaching tax time, so I should get a lot more logs out of some of these guys down here. I mean, these guys have like 60 more wood sitting right in that pile. There's another 59 right there. So yeah, we should be able to get something. I do hope these guys have the foresight to go ahead and start harvesting everything they can, but then again, I guess not every plant is fully grown. What about the blueberry bushes? Now see, some of these are fully grown, but they don't have any fruit coming out of them yet. It's not the right season for that. So hopefully they come back coming spring. I don't know. I haven't played through a winter in this in a very long time, not since I last played in early access. I'm anticipating this is going to be fairly painful, and we're going to go through a lot of fuel and potentially a lot of food as well. But we've also got a fair bit of food, plenty of grain, plenty of rice to go around, so that's certainly one thing. It's really going to come down to, do we have enough lumber? As long as we've got that, I think we're going to be okay. Oh, beautiful, beautiful tax day. What do you have for me? I did, by the way, manage to build some roofs over, I think, every building we've got. So no one's going to have any snow falling on them right now. That's kind of a drop-dead thing as far as I'm concerned. Like, who's going to be able to survive a winter even with a fireplace if the snow is falling on them every day, all day, you know? It's just not going to happen. So that's where it's really important to make sure you have enough materials. I did have to start swapping out to using some wooden rods instead of straw in some places. I could even have used planks, which wouldn't be a bad idea since planks is one of the few things I do have in some excess. That's fine, though. Oh, there we go. 485 wood and 547 wooden rods. Yes. All right. All right. With all this food, over 1,000 corn, my God. I feel pretty good about our odds of being able to survive this winter. We should be fine. I do like the change in appearance for the game. It felt very subtle at first as the winter started setting in, but now... that looks pretty beautiful. Oh, and now it's snowing! Oh, I'm so sorry, all you poor people. I really wish I was producing some very warm clothing for you, but still, no caravans providing us any sheeps, which makes me quite sad. It's just luck dependent, though. Eventually, a caravan's gonna come through that's gonna have some sheep, and these guys are gonna end up having plenty of money sitting around to buy plenty of sheep. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll just go ahead and preemptively say I would like you to buy up to, like, maybe 4 of these things. I don't know. I'd be happy to reimburse you if that's an issue. I got plenty of money. I mean, I'm the Lord. I got lots of money to go around. It's the only thing I'm good for. But they should be able to use their own money to buy their own products, which then I'll take everything. Okay, that's actually a pretty bad deal for them now that I think about it. But it's fine. It's fine. They're not going to complain too much, I'm sure. I do think it's a little bit cruel that this caravan came through here and they left this old man just laying here in the cold. I mean, I know I was like 1 bed short. Okay, like fine, fair enough. But at the same time, You left him out on the cold? In the snow? I mean, they must not like this guy at all. I feel like they could have at least let him sleep on the floor. That's what I did as a kid. Oh, gosh. Okay. I just did something really stupid. Don't do what I just did. Okay, so here's what I was doing, right? I was looking at my potatoes. I had like 400-something potatoes, right? And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll go ahead and start selling those until tax. I'll just give them away for free to my people so they have another source of food throughout the winter. Here's what I did not pay attention to. I actually had caravans selected when I did that. And what ended up happening within like 2 seconds, I mean, I made this mistake like really quickly, but what they did almost immediately was run over here, grab the potatoes, and say, no takesies backsies, and ran off. And by ran off, I mean he's like right here, probably still has all my potatoes. But the point is, yeah, if you're gonna be giving things away for free, make sure you have the local market selected only. Otherwise, caravans will happily take everything they can carry. Oh, whoops. I wonder if there's a mechanic in the game where visitors are less likely to approach during winter. It would make sense, right? I mean, I haven't seen a visiting family, aside from caravans, for about a season or so at this point. None really coming through. Caravans, they have an incentive to brave the storm. They want to make some money. Understood. Oh, chickens. What do you know? Visitors, on the other hand, who are just wandering around, yeah, a little bit less so. So I'm wondering if maybe come spring, that's when we're going to get lucky and find some new people. Our inn is getting really popular, by the way. We might need to consider expanding this out a little bit at some point in the near future. I wonder if there's anything I can do with my nobles. I'm looking at some of these zones down here, and I know they have some of their own special types of buildings. For example, there's an alchemist's workshop, right? And you can try to craft things like the Philosopher's Stone, but this requires a lot of things I don't have access to right now. Special types of flowers or herbs or mushrooms or potions, blah, blah, blah. There's also an artist's workshop, okay. Consumes a whole bunch of different things, but can create some statues and some art, which would beautify an area by a lot, but does require a special profession, and right now we don't have that. Jewel crafting, kind of similar, but I don't have any ingots or any way of producing them. That's not going to happen. Theater for acting, mint for coin making. Fun, okay. No, I don't have access to any of those things right now, unless one of my nobles or somebody is a little bit more talented than I thought. Reading and writing. Yep, those are the only skills really required in order to have a leg up on the simple peasants. Understood. Okay. Well, that's fun. We can eventually attract noble families who are going to have that, but we need to build a tavern, not an inn. An inn is very good if you want to bring in the lower classes. If we want to attract some of the nobles, we'll need to build a bigger, better one through the tavern, which is this one right here, and is expected to have the best, most expensive furniture and only the best food. Yeah, I'm nowhere near that point. Nowhere near that point. We have a lot of very basic production chains we need to get up and running first before I can support any more of that. The clergy are going to be interesting. It looks like these guys offer more service sector types of stuff. I'm thinking mostly along the lines of healthcare and education, right? Also, of course, religious services with like the shrine, but, you know, a paper mill, for example, an apiary, apothecary, hospital, sure, chapel, library, yep. These will all be very good at some point. I'm pretty sure these guys don't pay proper taxes to me, or maybe they do, but that's where, if we had gone to, let's take a look over here, this Francalmonier thing, that is the one where you would set aside something for a holy purpose, sort of like a sanctified temple or something, I don't know. Do I want to discard? Yes, I do. So, if we want to eventually try attracting some clergy, I don't know if it's going to be as simple as maybe taking some existing villagers and then sending them to the clergy. Might very well be the case. It is a forceful enlistment. But then we could possibly get them to become our nurses and our educators, and that would be a very good way to improve the quality of life of all our people. Plus, I think we can, on a sockage type of fiefdom, will be able to demand that they give a portion of their proceeds to the clergy as a secondary tax. So taxes to the Lord and taxes to the service providers. Makes sense to me. Gasp! I see greenery returning to this world. Oh, at long last, the harsh winter is thawing away. Excellent. Alrighty. Well, hopefully that means we got new people who will be on the horizon, eager to join our colony, so we can do some new stuff. Also, maybe a caravan who will finally bring me some sheep, I swear. Well, I can't decide if this disproves or proves my theory. It's now spring, and the very few hours before the season turned, a new set of visitors, a milling family, has arrived. So either, yeah, the dawn of spring brought them along, or they proved me wrong and arrived just at the very tail end of winter, and I've been nothing but unlucky. Whatever, regardless, I'm not really planning on taking on a milling family. I mean, we could do that, right? I mean, what we could do is possibly go for a windmill, start milling up grain and turning that into flour. That is certainly one option, but we would also need a baking family to make that worth my time. Without having both, what's really the point? Also, we're making a lot of food simply from, I don't know, carrots, parsnips, oats, whatever else it's going to be, so I'm kind of inclined to think that we don't even need it just to provide enough food for all of my people. So I think we're going to pass on that one. I think we are going to pass on the milling family. Candleish, I'm sorry, but no, get out. Anyways, so it should be tax day. We are now up to over 1,000 planks. My God, that's outstanding. You know something we could do? Maybe start placing down some better floors? Does take a carpenter to make that work, but I mean, I don't really see why not. Let's just go ahead and start improving some of this stuff. We got plenty of planks to go around. We might as well beautify the area a little bit, yeah? I'm going to try to expand the manor out a little bit as well. Create some separate bedrooms and stuff. This feels like sort of frivolous, if I'm honest, but I mean, isn't that kind of the point of having an all-powerful nobility? Lots of frivolous activities to display my wealth? So yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do with some of this. If I want to get some noble beds, I think the only thing I'm currently missing is rope, believe it or not. We have some silk in stock. Not a lot, but we have a little bit. But we don't have any rope. So I've been checking with the caravans as they come through and hoping that maybe once in a while they're going to be bringing me something useful like, I don't know, either sheep or rope. Neither has appeared so far. So I feel tremendously unlucky, if I'm honest. Very unlucky indeed. Ah, dang it. I got excited for a second. I saw a little white critter inside of the sheep pen. No, it's the pet cat. You silly Kit Kat. Get out of my sheep pen. You know, there are actually a lot of other really good pieces of furniture I haven't messed with so far. So, for the most part, whenever I've been looking at some of these buildings, right, we take a look at this over here, I've been placing down what's kind of already set up in, like, the main menu, you know, straw bed, blah, blah, blah. These are just base requirements, though. There's no reason we couldn't get some upgrades. So if I go to furniture over here, I notice we have access to some wooden beds with blankets, obviously nicer than the straw, right? Then there's expensive beds, which does take a little bit of silk, okay, that's bad, but it doesn't take rope. So maybe I don't need to worry about noble beds. Maybe just placing down some expensive beds over here is enough of an upgrade. My nobles will feel a lot happier. And in fact, to that extent, I'm kind of feeling like maybe we should do something kind of similar with the beds that are sitting here in the inn. Maybe we should get rid of these things and replace them with some higher quality goods. We've got the resources, so like, why not? But maybe not the expensive beds. Maybe just like a very basic wooden bed. Yeah, I think that's fine. A mining family wants to join. Mining? Well, let me think. These guys are probably going to require some rope, which we've already proven I don't really have any access to. So I think for now the answer is still going to be no. Sad to see a really large family go, but I can't really afford to feed them if I'm not going to gain anything out of the arrangement, am I right? There are things to mine, though. If you take a look at some of the rock deposits over here, usually along the edges you'll find something of value. For example, some copper, or some iron, or some gold, right? Those kinds of things do exist. So it will eventually be nice to have some mining, but this isn't exactly a very mountainous map. I think that the value we're going to get is going to be pretty limited at all times. And until I'm able to get, let's say, some yarn going, right, consistently out of things like, I don't know, sheep, right, then I don't think we're going to have much use for a miner family. Unfortunate, but true. Kind of unfortunate that we also then get a smelting family. It's almost as if the game really wanted me to take the miners. Eesh. Yeah, sorry to disappoint, guys. I'm kind of curious, how's the money situation for most of our people? So let's see, this family is running a bit low, 1.5 gold, 1.5 gold, 3 gold with this family. Yeah, the farmers made off pretty well here. I don't know if that's because they just started with more people or because they owned the inn for a very short period of time. That could be. Over here, about 2 gold-ish for the carpenters. And then less, okay, not very much money for this family group, but that's partly because they're not exactly doing much, right? Like, they're not producing many goods. I'm not really giving them much of a salary, but I've given them control of the inn temporarily because my carpenter was getting kind of distracted and not working on my building projects, so I feel like that's probably the better way to go. And then for this family down here, about 2.5 gold. Okay. Again, like, it's not that they should be making much money or there should be much income distribution between the families because I still have not activated trade between them, nor do I intend to, not for a little bit longer. But it's interesting to see what they're doing as far as their money because it suggests to me which families might be spending some of their excess cash over at, let's say, one of these storefronts for the caravans, who, by the way, has a Philosopher's Stone. Interesting. Okay. Well, anyway, so we did manage to survive through one winter. I wouldn't say that we grew an absolute ton in this particular video. I'm really just waiting for a sheep to arrive, because that's when things start to change. Once I can start farming out some animals, and I can get a tailor, we can open up yarn, silk production, we can open up rope production, get all that going, and things start looking a whole lot better, am I right? So, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, but what I'm probably going to do in between is play a little bit further forward and try to get at the very least a sheep set up. And if not that, then maybe just a few little housing upgrades here and there to make things a bit more beautiful and a little bit better insulated eventually when the cold comes back. Thank you all very much for watching this video. A tailor grab. I mean, I don't have any use for them yet, but who knows when they're going to come back, so I'm just going to grab it right now. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and again, thank you to Fulcrum Publishing for sponsoring this video. Much appreciated. You guys can find a link in the description down below if you would like to learn more. In the meantime, I ask you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.